Hello, everybody, and I'm here today with Gilly Viltrez, and we're here to talk about our initial thoughts on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I am really enjoying this game. Like, this is probably the best Star Wars game I've played since before Disney bought Star Wars. Like, in the days of like LucasArts. Like, I'm talking games like Dark Forces, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast, games like that, TIE Fighter, X-Wing, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, back in the heyday of Star Wars games.
For me, the pinnacle is Knights of the Old Republic, and I know it's a different type of Star Wars game, but for me, narratively, that game is ridiculously good.
I forgot to mention.
Couture is like, it's sacred, and I'm just saying, narratively, it's just amazing. But yeah, just Jedi game, I'm not gonna lie, didn't have high hopes for it, only because it was connected to Electronic Arts, and then when I did research, I found out, okay, it's being developed by Respawn. It was bought by Electronic Arts, and Electronic Arts is like, oh well, we got a Star Wars game now, so but it makes sense to scrap it.
And we know what happened with Battlefront 1 and 2. So
yeah, that's just horrible. So
yeah.
I'm pleasantly surprised with the Fallen Order. I'm not finished the game, but as far as the story, the initial story of a Jedi on the run, and then in hiding. And then he pretty much, is on the run because after something that happens within the game, and it's nothing to spoilers, it's the original log line. But basically, he's hunted down by some Sith that's called the Inquisitors, and it just goes so deep that I'll just leave it at that. But it's a rewarding experience.
Yeah. The Inquisitors are not a new idea. They were introduced in Star Wars Rebels. So if you've seen Star Wars Rebels, you know the idea of the Inquisitors. You know what they're all about.
Yeah, haven't seen Star Wars Rebels yet.
Yeah. But what I'm mostly impressed with is how much I like the main character. How much I like Cal Kestis.
What? You mean you're not upset that he's just a lame-looking ginger? No. He literally, I think his name is something Cameron Moynihan. I think that's his name. I could be wrong.
The actor, yeah.
Yeah, so I had seen a tweet, just I don't know, remember where, but literally I think it was a news article or something where someone was complaining that, he just looks ordinary. And he's like, what is it against gingers? Like, he was tweeting, like, what is it against gingers? But I think he looks cool true. Anyway. Yeah.
There's like I'm convinced there's this weird kind of, like, I don't know, trying to erase gingers from media. Like,
well, it's going to be a hard time with him as the head of Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
I think
the gameplay is super fun. I think that the combat gameplay is just really cool. I really like it. I've always been a big fan of these kind of like third-person action-adventure games. Mm-hmm. That's where I live. Those are the games that I really like a lot. Like the Uncharted games and the Spider-Man game. Mm-hmm. What are some other really good ones?
God of War.
God of War is really amazing. That's one of my favorite games that I've played this year. What else? Darksiders games. There's one I'm forgetting. Oh yeah. I'm trying to remember the name of this game. What is it? Horizon Zero Dawn.
That one I have to finish that one.
It's really good. But yeah, I've always lived in those kind of third person kind of. Oh, The Witcher 3 also. I forgot to mention that.
The Witcher 3 is cool. Yeah, for me, some of the third party games, it's just a third person game like Spider-Man I played, God of War was cool. The Witcher, the Batman Arkham Asylum game.
Yes, I forgot to mention.
I'm not big on all of them. Tomb Raider I played, I was cool, but
I'm pretty big on a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them I'm really into.
Yeah, I think it works. But from this standpoint, as far as a Jedi and building yourself, like the gameplay is fluid. The fighting is really it's expertly calculated. And the fact that you can't go in there and spam the square attack button. You got to be meticulous. You got to use your parrying. So I love how they did that. There's a targeting system. The force action is good. And when you level up and when you get more powers, you really feel like a Jedi, but at the same time, not like a masterful Jedi because he's a Padawan. He's not even like a full Jedi yet. So, I mean, he got his lightsaber. So there's parts to it from a gameplay standpoint that really hit home. And I think what they're doing, they're setting up a nice universe here where if you want to continue the story, you already have the actor who plays him. I could see this easily spin off into something.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's rumors them doing the sequel, so that's a possibility.
And this is where the geek side of me comes out, where for me, I'd love to see a sequel in where, I mean, I would love to see, because there's little bits and little tidbits in the game where one thing I like about Cal, he could sense the Force, and there's fragmented Force memories, or like a soldier that's fallen, he can feel the Force and feel like what happened in that moment. And there's nods to like a Jedi around, like he's not the only Jedi. So I feel like, and it was a Jedi in training. So I feel like this would be really good. Like if there's a sequel where maybe Cal is like takes the role of a master, and he's mentoring a young Jedi, and where you can create the young Jedi, his race or something like that, and that could be a cool aspect.
I think your idea sounds really, really cool. Like if you start with him young, and then throughout the game he grows up, and you grow up with the character that you created
under the tutelage of Cal. I think something like that would be cool.
That would be cool. That would be very cool.
Yeah,
I like the idea a lot.
I want to see this game expand more. Like I want the change to be unleashed, because the system is like you explore, you go to these big open world planets. It's linear, not too linear, but at the same time, there's room for exploration that you can get lost in them. But I feel if they can just make it a little more, just like uncuff the chains, but create a narrative where, I don't know, it feels like something like a Breath of the Wild, that kind of freedom, open lands, or some kind of, you get what I'm saying? That type of freedom and terrain with, something
with the focused gameplay and combat of this game. I get it.
For sure. Something that could be its own thing, and you still have Cal Kestis doing his thing. I don't know. Again, he's such a cool character that, we could just have him keep on going. There's so much for it. I just don't want to see this become another milk fest. And then we get a sequel.
I understand. What also another thing that I really like is, like, so far each planet I've been to has its own atmosphere, its own vibe, its own feel, and its own uniqueness.
It has its own character. Yeah, for sure. But for me, I like the exploration, but there's some parts where it's just like you want to go everywhere and you can't. And like,
by the way, you do get. Once you get the double jump ability, that section you were trying to get to, and you try to get to, you can get to it. You can get up there.
Yeah, I hate that they tease you like that, though. I know that's a gameplay function where they just have, certain, like, an exploration, like you unlock this new ability, you come back to the old places, and that's kind of like a Zelda type thing. You get this new thing, you go back, and and I get it. What I want is, again, this is minor nitpicking. I just want to see a more fluid immersion, as far as, like, they do a good job with immersion. Don't get me wrong. It's just like the planet system. I just want more open world gameplay. I guess that's my real gripe. I just want a more open world, because I get the fact that it has to be done this way. But the game is so big in itself. So I guess what I would love to see is like an open world Jedi experience with this type of production. This type of big budget.
I know. To me, my one of my issues with more open world games is that the production value for me suffers, so it's not as polished.
Mm-hmm.
That's my issue with it. So that's why I kind of prefer more focused, narratively linear games than more open world stuff. But if they can do it, well, you know what? A game that did it really, really well was Witcher 3. Witcher 3 kind of had that balance.
If you look at Witcher 3, if you look at Red Dead Redemption, even the GTA games, they're high quality sandbox games, but they stay within their narrative, and they also branch out into like cool separate side narratives. Maybe look at like Oblivion. If you look at like,
I know it can't be done because it's done before, and I've seen it done before.
So. But it has to be top quality. You can't spare anything in the expense of the gameplay and the production. If you can merit that and you can bring that together in like a cool, I think that'd be a major win, because again, Star Wars are these epic type games, and I don't want it too cookie cutter with the narrative. I want to get lost. And again, that's a minor gripe. This is for a game is doing excellent. It's climatic with the story. It has it. I don't know how it ends. I don't know if it's going to leave you wanting more. I don't know what their plans for DLC. But I just don't. I don't want this to be milked.
Speaking of DLC, there is a part of the game that I felt would have been better off just as post-game DLC. Now, there's a section in the game where you get just the story kind of goes off the rails for me a little bit, and I think it felt like filler to me, like a filler episode on a TV show that you like. Mm-hmm. It just felt tacked on. What do you agree with me?
I kind of understand. There's that part where you and for me when it happened, almost like you, I was so into the story and I'm like trying to I'm getting excited and something happens and the way it happens is like what? And it's almost like, okay, this could be like a filler episode. It's almost like, the Coliseum type trope and you're like, what? And it's just like, what's going on? But then somehow it just connects back to the story and it's done in haphazardly for me.
Yeah,
it's not fluid enough.
It's not
fluid. It just jars you.
It jars you, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it would have been cool if they would have maybe done that as post game DLC, like after you finish the game. There's a little mini story that happens after the events of the game. That would have been really, really cool. Mm-hmm. But right in the middle of the game story, it just didn't feel right to me.
Yeah, it was a bit jarring. I mean, I think they could have handled it a lot better. And I think just for that fact, it kind of feels like it's almost unexpected. And when you go through it, it's just almost like, why is this even happening? Why is this even a thing? And I felt they could have done a great way of building up that if they wanted to keep that in. There's when you travel in the game, it literally is kind of it seems there's no hiccup.
Yeah,
it kind of
I see other ways that could have been implemented better, and it wouldn't have derailed the narrative flow of the game.
Yeah, and I think the way I like it, because when you move to planet, it doesn't break up the flow. You're literally in the ship. You're going into hyperspace. Everything is happening real time. They open up a dialogue. There's different dialogue things that open up randomly. And then you just sit on your plane and you land at the planet. So it feels like there's a flow to it. And I think that segment
would have been, here's a good idea. Maybe a bit spoiler here, but what if one of those times when you're hyperspacing between planets,
right?
Like a bounty hunter ship just attacks you and then you're forced to land on a planet and then you're forced to fight bounty hunters.
That could happen. Now, again, that could happen. And you could keep it within, again, it's not like you're ruining the game. Because, again, if that cutscene, as far as budget, making new animations, that's something where you could have we've been hit and you got to let, and that could happen. I could see that. And that could open up maybe why what happened later on in the game happens, because now you fill it with something here. Or you could just add a dialogue bit within Greasy, who's one of the characters talking to Kevin, hey, listen, guess what? By the way, while we're on this planet, I kind of got in with some bounty hunters. So we might, on your travels, just be aware that you might be unexpectedly attacked by bounty hunters. And then it could happen. Or so okay, yeah, right. I doubt this is going to happen. This is just side filler story stuff. But then when it happened, it was built up. You're like, oh, yeah, I remember.
And also, I got to say, I mean, the idea of random bounty hunters is cool. But I'll be going through a planet, just minding my own business, trying to 100% it. Then suddenly I get attacked by 2 bounty hunters and they kill me. I'm like, it's so annoying.
Yeah, so I like the fact that it keeps you on the edge of your toes. But again, you gotta be on it. If you gotta run, you gotta run. You don't always have to fight them. But they could get you cornered. But again, it's a cool little element. But then it becomes where they kind of look the same. I would like to see maybe a Mandalorian looking armor one attack you and be a little OP, but.
It would have been cool if Boba Fett would have shown up. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, and he's super godlike where you can't beat him. Or if you're going to put the final kill, he gets away and he doesn't show up again. Little nuggets like this, I feel they have room for. And again, this is just minor gripes. But again, overall, I think the game was good. And there's room for a lot. The customization is okay. All you do is you get these poncho things. I thought it would have been cool if you have one with a hood. We get a Jedi robe or something where
or at least a poncho with a hood. I mean,
a poncho with a hood. Come on, a Jedi without a hood, it ain't a Jedi, in my opinion. I mean, that. And again, you find so many different color ponchos. It's like you're telling me you can't just add a hood. How is that breaking the budget of the game?
It's Poncho Gate.
Poncho
I don't
Gate?
know if you know what happened with the Spider-Man game.
No, I
It
don't.
was something called Puddlegate. I don't know. It's a whole thing. I'm not gonna get into it now.
Well, again, it's just like you have so many different ponchos and again customization, but have one that covers his head. You know, you could customize your lightsaber, but
that wouldn't have been that big a deal, honestly.
yeah, I mean that's what I liked about KOTOR. Even though as limited as that game was graphically back in the day, they still had a sense of where you're creating a Jedi how you want. You feel like you could go like the Han Solo route where you just want focus on guns, or you just wanted have your lightsaber fluency. Like there's ways where you could work it out. And I think here just having a different garb, different wardrobe. There's subtle differences. They're just subtle nuances that could just add for a little extra immersion in the game because you got so many different spaces for customization. You're just limited to just different color ponchos.
Yeah, you had mentioned something when we were talking, I think yesterday, about like you finding Jedi robes in one of these crates and stuff. That like when you're on Bogano and you're like where this other Jedi Master was. Like, what if you find some old Jedi robes that he had? And that would have been
cool. Yeah, something like that I think would have been cool. Like because in Bogano, there's one where you go under the water. Like maybe he hid something under the water. Just little stuff, but it adds little immersion. These are like little. They don't hurt the game, but if you add it,
you're right. You're right.
It only adds to it. It just adds.
I know. I gave you some grief about it. But now that I think about it, you're right. It wouldn't have hurt the game.
It doesn't. This is my thing. If you're paying $60 for a game, and I get the customization, but 20,000 different colored ponchos, it doesn't do it for me. There's a moment in the game where there's like Stormtrooper and a Rebel Resistance, and it's like imagine one of the armors that you get, or one of the outfits, is literally like this Rebel armor, and you go, you got the hat, maybe that goofy looking, what is that oval shaped hat on for the Rebels hat.
I would never wear that though.
No one would wear it. I get it, but then again, maybe someone would. It's just fun, you know what I mean? Maybe he don't have to have that, but he can have the regular uniform, and he's wielding a lightsaber. Wouldn't that be cool? Or you get a Stormtrooper outfit, like he has a Stormtrooper, but helmetless Stormtrooper. We've seen Han Solo like that. We've seen Luke like that. You get Cal Kestis like that. It's little Easter egg type stuff that could add for the game. And who wouldn't want to be this helmetless Stormtrooper with a freaking lightsaber? Again, this is something that could just be cool. Just that I don't see it hurting the game in any kind of way. And you already got the mechanics and the animation within the game to make it happen. Again, this is just little subtle stuff. Maybe that could be add-on for a DLC. I'd pay $5 for that realistically for a couple extra skins where you're not breaking the bank.
This is the ironic thing about this game is that EA said, "Oh, we're not going to have any microtransactions. We're not going to have any DLC." But the ironic thing is, I like this game so much that I would pay for DLC if it's good.
But that's the thing. The focus needs to be 100% on the game. And then when you add these filler things, it's great. When it's 100% focus on building a system around looting your own people or your own customer fan base, that I don't like. But if you do something great here and you create an awesome game, and then again, we're producing ways that where, the extra, I would pay $5 for like 10 extra skins or something like that. It would be cool because, again, it doesn't add to the story, but it adds to the story. They're just little fillers that just add. It's just a nice touch.
Yeah,
especially in a vast, Star Wars universe.
Yeah, completely, totally. All right, that was a good initial thought video. We're gonna be doing maybe a stream or maybe a podcast at this point about the game. Like once we both beat the game.
Yeah, for sure.
So look forward to that. We'll announce stuff on Twitter with what we plan to be doing because YouTube is kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely keep people posted on what's going on with that. But for right now, I actually got to go play the game now. That's what I'm going to do after I get off here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that too.
But thanks everybody for listening, and be sure to like, comment, all that good stuff. And stay tuned on Twitter. We're going to be announcing stuff on there. I am going to have some new, really, really, really cool Paragon Prime art coming up real soon.
Nice.
Gilly knows what it looks like, as I sent him a sketch of it. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, look forward to that on Twitter. And I guess Yeah, see you guys next time.
All right, guys, later.
Bye bye.